What's going on, YouTube? I passed my eval, so that's nice. It's been like 7 days, 7 trading days when I started this beginning of March, but between March 6th and today, I traded 7 days. So all 7 days were wins, so I think that's great. I guess I was pretty selective. Again, I'm not trading a lot right now, so still trying to figure it out, but today was a good day. I wanted to go over the trade that I took and just explain a little bit more about TopStep. I did go. I already paid for my Express funded account, so it's already live. I just haven't taken any trades, but it is live. And like I said, this was over 2 months, 3 months, 2 months. I can't add. But I had no losing days. That's pretty fortunate. I did have a day with $24 on it. And the best day was probably today. I made a trade for like $800, so that was pretty solid. Outside of that, there's really nothing flashy. Just trade well, hit $3,000, without messing up any of the rules, which best day of profit for me was 27%, and I think it has to be below 50, so I think TopStep is pretty easy. That being said, the trade that I took today, today was interesting. I was looking at all of this nonsense up here from yesterday, basically from the close. Just decided I took off after the close, did some nonsense up here, and then just took a nosedive. And things started to get pretty interesting. Let's zoom in a little bit on the open here. This first candle, I'm going to zoom in even more. This candle right here was the 9:30 open, so pretty much right at the open, this thing just decided to take a nosedive. I didn't trade. Oh, this is my Express. Oh no, I can't. It doesn't show my entries. I guess I can't access it anymore. All right, that's fine. I remember what it was. So I didn't trade until 3:50 this afternoon, and it was right here because it was a nice red wick. So let's talk about what happened today first. Again, dumped right off of the end. I was watching all of this happen. I sat on the sidelines. I didn't touch it. Right about, I guess, around 10:30, or early, before 10:30 today, I realized that if it might have just continued to do this, I didn't want to participate. I don't want to participate. I don't want to get in any of that. I'm just going to stay out. And then I just went in and did some other shit, worked on some other things I'm working on, took care of my family. Came back periodically throughout the day and just saw kind of a little bit of a lot of nothing. Just a lot of sideways, just some liquidity grabs here. Not really a lot of continuations, kind of like gradual drifting downward. Again, nothing super entertaining, but let's zoom in on the end of the day. I'm not a big proponent necessarily of trading during power hour, but I did come back. I do like the added volatility at the end of the day, and I figured maybe it was an opportunity for something to happen. I'd like these days here where it's just kind of this slow drift down. My previous self in another life would have gotten chopped up in here, and I know a lot of people probably did get chopped up in here. So what I'm thinking is there's probably just a lot of people on both sides of the spectrum here that are not happy. But it looks also like there's the potential for people to be buying a lot of positions here. So again, 3:50 is about 10 minutes before close. And so what I'm thinking, I'm sitting here probably like 3:30 I got in front of the screens, which is right about in here. So if I could make these disappear, that would be helpful. But 3:25, saw a big red candle. 3:30, nothing of significance. And then 3:35 right here, or 3:35, this semi-indecisive doji candle, if you want to call it that, but I'm just going to call it this indecisive red candle here. This is what I thought was interesting. I figured after a nice big red candle that we'd continue to see more, and we didn't. At the time, this is the 20 SMA, it's just simple moving average. Again, didn't do much. It wasn't playing any significant role throughout the day. But again, it's just kind of another thing I was watching. Right after this kind of indecisive candle, I'm looking at the 340 candle, and then I see the 345. This is the 5-minute chart. And then I see the 345 candle. So I entered on the 345 candle. And I wish I had my entry. What I'm going to do is I'm going to try my best here to, I didn't journal this either, so I feel kind of shitty for this. I'm going to put my entry right about here, because in the beginning it was about a $200 risk. And what I was doing was I was keeping it right below this wick on the 345 candle. And initially I had it set, I want to say something like this, a little bit like this, right? Kind of a 2.5 risk to reward ratio here. The risk, actually it was around 2, because the risk was $200. My target was initially $400. I switched it to about $450. Something inside of me, and that something inside of me told me that I should move my target. And I did. I'm glad I did. I started to feel a little bit of additional volume coming in here. And this is where things get really fun, because, I didn't predict the market. Well, I guess this is just end of day. I'm thinking power hour, last 15 minutes. People are going to be buying and selling positions. And I figured we would get, my initial guess was that we were going to get continuation, because, again, we've just had a ton of down. And here's a big down, little bit of an up. This indecision candle, I like that. That's what set me off first. A solid green candle, followed by this lot of buying here. I like this. So I entered this position. I'm thinking maybe we're going to get a little bit more buying at the end of the day, into the close. I thought we'd probably see something like 21,485. I mean, that's a little, I guess it's not too crazy to think of at the end of the day. There's been some crazy things happen on NQ. But what I'm looking at here, I was just thinking like maybe we'd get up here. So I'm thinking I'm in a good position. I keep my risk below the wick of this 5-minute candle, the 345 candle. Risk is real tight. I'm perfectly comfortable taking a loss here if it's just going to stop me out. What was really great and what I was really happy is actually during the trade, there was quite a bit of volatility in this candle here. So if you notice, like, so this is the buying candle that I entered on. Notice its height compared to the last candle with that much volume was back here at 1255. That was the last buying green candle with a similar amount of volume since 1255. So I'm keeping an eye on this. I'm watching the candle make these huge dips up and down because buyers and sellers are fighting. I'm watching the volume in real time. I feel confident. A part of me, I heard something in my head telling me, move your stop to break even. It's the end of the day, because I was thinking I'm close to passing my eval. I was trying to get myself to move my stop. I did not. I got into my trade. I accepted my risk at $200 and I stayed in. I'm glad I did, because at one point it came right down to my break even, right down to my entry. Had I been break even, I would have gotten stopped out. So I'm glad that did not happen. I kept my stop loss at 200. I accepted my risk, and I feel like I'm growing as a trader if I do that. And I'm not afraid. Put the trade on, trust your risk. It's a numbers game. Don't move your stop. That was fantastic advice. What happened after that candle finished, I was super happy when the 345 candle finished. Super bullish candle. Things are looking really good. Indecisive, strong candle, extra strong candle here. The next candle is where I ended up. The magic started to happen. So, second part, I moved my stop because I was thinking if this takes off, I want to partake in in it. So I doubled my target. I was originally at 400. I put it to about here, 435, 434. I essentially doubled my target. At the time, I was literally just thinking, I am $800 away from passing this eval. I just set the target wherever it said on TopStep. It said 800 for my target. I said, I'm putting my target at $800 or 800 and some change. I think it was like $825. What was hilarious is the 350 candle. You can tell when some of these algorithms kick on. This didn't just like shoot up, it glitched up. It was not a steady candle up. It jolted up and jolted down. I blinked and my target got hit. It was absolutely insane how fast it happened. And then, I mean, you see the red candle, how it finished. I mean, it jolted up here extremely fast and then dropped. I think this is pretty accurate in terms of like where my target was. I was for a moment, I had to check up here to make sure that it was actually green and not red, that I actually hit my target. Absolutely insane, but the 350, the second that candle started, it just felt like all the algorithms, the 350 PM algorithms just kicked on and did their thing and just tagged me. And it was pretty awesome. I'm glad I moved my stop just so I could pass my eval today and just be done with it. It feels good to be back. I'm excited to be able to trade on a funded account, and my objective is not to change anything that I'm doing. I want to continue to be a relatively discretional trader. I'm still working on a couple of strategies, but I'm working, the discretional aspect for me is how can I continue to make just good trading decisions, right? I know enough about basic price action. I know enough about basic risk management that if I can just keep my emotions in check, if I can just make better decisions and not revenge trade, that's really all I care about. Everything else should fall in line as long as my risk to reward ratios are okay, my win percentage is okay. That's what I'm focusing on. I've made a payout. Everything here forward, I'm not too concerned about. I just want to get some payouts. I want to make some money. And the way I'm going to do that is by controlling my emotions, ironing down on discipline, risk management, and just not being stupid. That's really the goal. So I'm going to keep everybody updated, but this is what I'm dealing with, and it feels good to be back. Hopefully I can get a couple more and a couple more payouts, a couple more funded accounts. But until then, that's all I got. I'll see you guys next time. Peace.